Hi, hi. You're welcome to today's stream. Made it 5 o'clock exactly. Yeah, it's been a while since I've kind of been on time, so yeah, it's good to finally be on time. Yeah. Today's stream is a bit different. Yeah, there's a lot to talk about with Leaf and what's going on here. Okay, never mind. Yeah, so there's quite a lot to talk about with Leaf. Let me just hide this. Okay, we're good. Yeah, there's, as I said, quite a lot to talk about. So this week in Leaf, what happened? I don't think any really interesting thing happened. It's pretty much been the same. Um, yeah, I pushed out a bunch of things, but then I'm not sure I actually created any new release. Okay, there was this version 3.12 of Leaf. That was this week. Yeah, just 4 days ago. Um, yeah, so this is something I was working on for Leaf. Just Leaf. Whoa. Okay. So that was just for Leaf without like all of the MVC stuff. Um, so the whole idea was to kind of have, I don't know, Leaf configure stuff for you. Like Leaf MVC does all of that for you, but then Leaf itself doesn't do any of that stuff for you. So the idea was to have a configure inertia, to configure blade, bare UI, all of those stuff. So if you run like just leave install blade, it should magically set stuff up for you. And then I think like the main challenge there was making sure it was like performance enough because Leaf MVC sacrifices some performance to set all of that stuff up for you. But then I had to do that inside Leaf directly without sort of making Leaf any slower. Anyway, so yeah, a few stuff happens there, and yeah, that's kind of the latest release. So the whole idea is, I don't know if I can demo it. I do not want to do live demos. Anyway, let me just look for an old Leaf project. I don't want to set anything new up right now, and I have a lot of documentation because I've been working on documentation. Anyway, um, yeah, I'm actually not sure I have any open Leaf projects. Anyway, so like the whole idea is basically if you have a Leaf project, let's just pretend this is a Leaf project. If you have a Leaf project here, you could just leave install blade, create a views folder, and then just put your views in there, like index of blade or PHP, and then it will just work pretty much. So that's what this update does. That's the new update for Leaf. Um, yeah. So most people build APIs with Leaf, like without all of the MVC stuff. Most people just build APIs, not like full stack applications. But then if you do want to build a full stack application with Leaf without all of the MVC stuff, this update will help you, basically. Yeah, so that was the update for Leaf itself. Other modules got tiny updates as well. Leaf HTTP got a few methods, a few additions. Okay, it looks like I didn't create any release for them. Yeah, but then Leaf HTTP, sorry, Leaf HTTP got a new release, and then the Leaf CLI with Sprout was also kind of released. That's like version 3 of Leaf CLI. And yeah, Sprout makes things a whole lot easier. I don't know if I don't know if there's like a good enough way to sort of show off how easy stuff are with Sprout. Um, yeah, but basic examples, replacing like loads of this code with like one-liners and things like that. I'm looking for an example with a process. Okay, so something like this, of where I would sort of like write all of this to run one command. Sprout sort of lets me do that with one line. So yeah, that's pretty cool stuff. And I released a new version of the Leaf CLI with Sprout. It's an alpha version. There's still a lot to fix over there, like this particular screen. Um, but then Wait, there was something I actually wanted to demo here. Yeah, let's go. So we if we do something like leaf create, so this is Sprouts. What do you even call that? Prompt. So Sprout comes with like built-in prompts, and I think I kind of demoed that a bit last week, but it wasn't working. It wasn't re-rendering. It was just stuck in responses. But now we have this completely working, and then we also have the select part for the prompts also working beautifully. So I'm using my cursor control keys up, down, and stuff like that. Um, so yeah, there'll be more questions, more prompts to set up Leaf easier. But then that's going to be for version 4. I mean, it's going to be the Leaf CLI, so you install it globally and then you can use it like this. So, but then it's going to be version 4 only, as in like Leaf MVC version 4. Um, yeah. So it's going to come with a bunch of questions where you can sort of customize Leaf and Leaf MVC for exactly what you want to do. So I think currently the leaf create command has like this custom, yeah, something like that, like a custom where you could, it kind of gives you these questions, but then at the same time, it gives you a lot more, like it allows you to set up leaf DB, leaf auth, and all of that stuff, like right from the terminal. So it'll be something similar, but then just way better. And it'll work for not just leaf, but then leaf MVC and then leaf MVC for APIs. So that's the idea. This isn't done. It's almost done. Like you can actually generate stuff basically. I think yeah, pretty much every command is working. The only thing left is this screen, like this particular screen here, and then colors. So I don't know if you've noticed, but then colors aren't working. Um, like Symfony console has like these info comments things that give like different colors, but they are not yet working in Sprout. Um, I don't know if I'll fix that before the first launch, but I don't know. I think colors are like the least important thing on the scale right now. But yeah, pretty much every other thing is working. So that's progress on Sprouts. That would how did this get back here? It was supposed to be the last thing. Anyway. Okay. Um so I would say as you actually forgot to post this. And what's going on here? Okay, cool. I forgot to post this link. Wait, why is it showing as unlisted? Oh, that actually kind of sucks. I don't know if okay, right. Why on earth was that showing as unlisted? I just felt something was wrong. Anyway, okay. So there was one last thing I wanted to do. Okay, never mind. Never mind that. Cool. Yeah, looks like we're good now. Um, yeah. So I think that's pretty much it for Sprout and for days Hangout. Funny that this happened on the only day I was actually like early, like just in time for the Hangout. Anyway, um, yeah, would probably have to check my YouTube settings. I don't know why that went to unlisted by default. Anyway, um, yeah, so I think that's pretty much it for Leaf Sprout and all of that stuff. So Leaf CLI version 3, I don't think I actually published a new release. Yeah, I didn't. But then it's available at v3.x dev. So that's what I have installed. That's what I was just playing with. So yeah, that's pretty much it. The only thing left is the screen. I need to just sort of map through all the installed commands and then just produce their um I don't know what descriptions. Yeah, that's what I was looking for. Right. So there are descriptions and then the actual command. I think that's pretty much the only thing left. So I mean, after that, I can technically launch, but then I would want to get the colors to done. So yeah, colors are not super important, but they just make things just nicer. So yeah, that's what's up with Leaf CLI. I think that was why it was up there because I did a little work there. Yeah, so I think the only important thing here is the Leaf update. So I have a few more for HTTP, but then I've not yet released them. I think I published them though. Like I pushed them to did I? So they're showing 2 weeks ago. I 100% sure that I actually pushed this though. Unless I mistakenly pushed them somewhere else. Da, da, da. Is it HTTP or something like that? Yeah, I might have mistakenly pushed them to my cloned version. Huh. When was this? No, definitely not. So that's kind of weird. That's actually really, really weird. Because I um yeah. I actually pushed out a bunch of updates just a few days ago. Anyway, or did I? Oh right, I didn't. Okay. I just had to press the button. Okay. So I don't actually even remember what these updates do, but then they improve something. Let's see. Let's see. Oh, right, it was just a flash messaging thing, and just making things a bit easier. So just putting flash messages, cookies, everything into Leaf HTTP, so that you don't have to be using like the global cookies function, the global flash message function, all of that stuff. So it's just a little nicety. It doesn't actually change or break anything. Um, yeah. So basically, that was the week for Leaf. Um, the only important thing was the Leaf release. I'm going to publish this version of HTTP in a little bit. Um, yeah. So um, I put up big announcements. Ooh, I actually even got the casing wrong. Right. So big announcements for today. I think the biggest announcement is on the progress of um, Leaf MVC version 4. So if you're following the MVC repo, there probably haven't been any new pushes there. But then I've been updating Allo and MVC core, which are, like what run in the background whenever you use Leaf MVC. So yeah, they got a bunch of updates, especially for performance. So I hadn't run any benchmarks or anything for quite a while. But then when I did, it was completely surprising in a sense that performance had, so that's what's up. So performance had completely dipped for Leaf MVC, not for Leaf. Version 4, not version 3. So the version 4.x alpha, which is available on Composer, yeah, performance had completely dipped for version 4. And yeah, it was bad. It was extremely bad. For an idea of how bad it was slower than Laravel. Yeah. So if you probably know of Laravel's performance stats, just imagine this being worse than Laravel. Yeah, so I had to make a lot of tweaks to this. I had to change the way configuration is loaded, the way views are loaded. Basically a whole lot of stuff. And yeah, we got performance back up to a good enough number. I think it's um I think yeah, it was definitely more than 1,000. It was probably 1,500 thereabouts. Before it was about 100, 200 requests per second, and a Laravel does about 300, 400 requests per second on my system. With PHP 8.2, not 8.3 or higher. So yeah, it was really bad. But yeah, we are back above 1,500, which is okay. Definitely not where I want it to be. Because Leaf itself does over 5,000 on my Mac. So that's less than half of Leaf's performance, like Leaf's actual performance. Yeah, it's because a lot of things are set up for you. Like whenever you boot up a fresh Leaf MVC application, there is a whole lot that's down for you. Like everything is initialized for you. So you don't have to initialize it yourself. And then there is sessions on by default. Sessions steal about 1,500 requests per second, just turning on sessions without actually using them. Yeah. Anyway, that's enough performance talk. So yeah, a lot of things have changed in version 4. Besides all of the performance stuff, there were also a lot of nice additions that just make things easier to use. So that's kind of part of the reason why the version 4 beta has been further delayed. I think right now there's nothing more left to add except the schema files. So as I mentioned on last week's Hangout module, so that you can use them with Leaf. So even if you're not using Leaf MVC, you still have schema files, and they'll just help you set up your database. Yeah, so I think that's the only thing left I need to do. And then from there, version 4 beta would be out. I hope this is still working. Okay, very good. Yeah, so I think that's the only thing holding version 4 back. Um, for the console, we are still using Symfony console for like inside Leaf MVC because that's not a global thing. So it doesn't matter what PHP version or what global stuff you have installed, it won't affect it in any way. But then yeah, for the Leaf CLI, I think that's besides the screen I mentioned earlier, there's pretty much nothing left. So yeah, that's why I actually use myself. But yeah, I've just been testing it. I want to put it through a lot more testing before I actually release it. So yeah, that's it. That's pretty much it for Leaf MVC version 4. It's looking a whole lot better right now. And then I want to add a lot more things that used to be in, I think, version 2 of Leaf MVC. So I kind of stripped down Leaf MVC when I was moving from version 2 to version 3 because a lot of things were, should I say, overkill or conflicting with a lot of different systems. And they just weren't worth the efforts, like maintaining all of those things. Um, a big example, queues. So if you're from Laravel or another big framework, then you probably are used to like having queues right out of the box. Leaf MVC, I think version 2 or early version 3 had something like that. But then it just became a pain to maintain all of that. Uh, but yeah, that's coming back in version 4. So besides a lot of other modules are getting updated, not breaking changes, no new major versions, but then they're getting a lot of new things, additions, performance updates, and stuff like that for version 4. And that kind of brings us to the major thing for today. So if you followed on our previous Hangout or you read the blog post, I don't even know which one it was. Probably maybe when Leaf MVC4 was released. So basically, Leaf and Leaf MVC4 have always had the same version numbers. Version 1, 2, 2, 3, 3. But then for this release, Leaf MVC version 4, I was thinking of having Leaf stay at version 3. The reason being, there's actually nothing to add to Leaf itself, like no breaking changes to add to Leaf itself. If there is anything I need to do, I can do it in the module. And then I don't plan to change anything that would like break future versions of Leaf. So you could say Leaf has kind of reached like a stable state where like there's literally nothing that would break. Not like there's nothing to add, but like there's nothing that would break Leaf from this point on. So version 3 was kind of like the stable thing, which is why this was going to stay at version 3 and then MVC goes to version 4 because there are a lot of breaking changes, especially now. After the updates I made this week, there are like tons of breaking changes in Leaf MVC 4. Not from your standpoint, but like on a system scale, like a lot of things are broken. So like if you try to ah, never mind. By the time you update from 3 to 4, because I'll push out version 3.11, which will kind of like sort that issue out. So updating from version 3 to version 4, by the time version 4 is out, would be just a composer update situation. But like right now, a lot of things are so different, especially because of the performance updates I made. Um, yeah. So yeah, I don't know. But I've been thinking it's pretty annoying to have like Leaf MVC at version 4 and then have Leaf at version 3. But then we also use semantic versioning, so I can't just bump up to version 4 without any breaking changes. Which was something I was thinking about for a while. Um, oh, audio lag, that's new. That's actually new. Maybe because of this weird frame rate error. I don't know. I hope it fixes itself because I have no idea how to fix that. Um, okay. Yeah, really just hope it fixes itself. Okay. Maybe I have to do nothing for a while. Anyway. So anyway, long story short, yeah. So I think this was pretty much where I was like, it'll be or somewhere like that. So long story short, I unfortunately I think the best course of action for you to update Leaf to version 4. No change to the code whatsoever, but then to just jump to version 4, which is kind of breaking semantic version, which we've been doing forever. Um, yeah, maybe it's not a big deal. Maybe I'm the one making a big deal out of it. But yeah. So I'm just going to bump up the number. Technically, there'll be no change on your end. Same code in Leaf 3 will work in Leaf 4, which is a first. We've never actually had that. Because version 2 kind of broke things. Version 2 and version 3 weren't so different in terms of like syntax. Wait, version 3 added functional mode, which version 2 didn't have, and then modules were a big break. So kind of, yeah, I think this will probably be the first time we have like a major version that doesn't break anything. I mean, because it's the same thing, it's the same code. But version 4 of Leaf MVC Core, I think that also wouldn't break anything, but then you might have to make a few changes to your code, especially like your config files. Um, Maybe not. I don't know. Yeah, the view config would be totally different. I think that's the only breaking change I can think of because every other thing, I've tried to keep everything like closely related. The rest are just stuff from inside. So if you run a composer update, yeah, it will technically match all the correct versions. So yeah, upgrading to version 4 from version 3 should not break your code. Um, is there still audio lag? Please let me know if there's still audio lag. Um, anyway, so that's the current situation. We're going to have a new version 4. And I don't know what to do about it. But for version 4, because I'm sort of jumping a new version, we obviously have to redo the documentation. It's kind of like a tradition here. Every time we update the new major version, we sort of read the documentation. So I've been doing that over the past week, which might be one of the reasons why we've not seen a lot of changes. Actually, there have been a lot. I've just not pushed out a lot of the things I've worked on. Yeah, but this is what we have. There's a whole lot more, a bunch of new stuff, which you are going to see because I'll be posting a link soon, and the documentation is pretty done. By the way, if you're on Discord, I posted this thing up here. If you have any pain points with the current documentation, please just put them down and I'll take care of them because I'm pretty much redoing the whole documentation. It's gone quite a while, quite a long way. We have different paths, so you can build a leaf, building with Leaf MVC for APIs. So I'm kind of like creating learning paths, whatever you call them. Um, yeah, just to guide you along with the documentation. And then of course there's your search over here. People will probably just ignore it and use the search anyway. But yeah, that's this is here if you need it. And then I'm creating specific things for Leaf MVC. So for instance, if you go to middleware, there's like a curated Leaf MVC4 Leaf MVC documentation for middleware, which is separate from the regular stuff. So an example is with Leaf, you would probably be using functions over classes because to me, it doesn't make sense to use classes in like a single PHP file. But then with Leaf MVC, everything is structured. You have your whole folder structure and all of that. So to me, once again, it won't make sense to use functions here. So you can use classes, you can use functions, and then this documentation is tailored to Leaf MVC. So it's the same thing with like routing. There's a special routing documentation where we use controllers over functions, all of that stuff. Um, yeah. So if you have any problems with the documentation, just please post them down on Discord. And now is the best time to do that because um, I don't want to spend too much time on documentation, so I'm kind of like rushing through it. Yeah, a few things are coming back. Queues, as I mentioned, queues somewhere. I don't even know where queues are. Yeah, probably haven't. Okay, right there, utilities. Queues are coming back, and they'll be a bit different from the queues library. So we actually have a queues library, um, which was once again for this was exactly version 0.2. I don't know if it was for Leaf MVC 2 or early MVC 3. So it'll be a bit different. I mean, queues are queues. You you basically just add them and then workers take care of the rest. But then this time we have Leaf MVC to take care of all of the annoying stuff for us. So you install queues, add the commands. I was thinking of a way to make sure Leaf MVC does that for you, but then I don't want to slow Leaf MVC down again. So at least in the first version. Oh, by the way, so back up a bit. This documentation is for only Leaf 4 and Leaf MVC 4. The current documentation will be at v3.leafphp.dev as we always do. Um, yeah. Okay, so I can proceed. Yeah. So basically, a lot of things in Leaf have been or are being automated. So you run an install command like leaf install this, and then either leaf or leaf MVC will set everything up for you. And yeah, basically, we are just trying to make the process of building stuff with leaf just super smooth. So yeah, you just install stuff and then it's already done for you. So you can just proceed with doing stuff. So like this, in this case, you can create a new job. I don't know, add whatever I need to add, and then just dispatch the job or dispatch the job with extra stuff. So jobs are stateless. I mean, I haven't written the code yet, but I think this is what I would want it to look like or something like that. So they will probably be stateless, which is why I have to pass in the width over here. Um, yeah, and pretty much the same thing goes for every other module. So you just install and then Leaf takes care of the rest for you. I wrote a bunch of documentation like that throughout. I don't even know where those are. But yeah, um, yeah, that's what we're having. That's pretty much what version 4 of Leaf will be. And for the first time, we are kind of just trying to let you build. I mean, for the past three versions, Leaf has been yeah, like we always focus on making things as simple as possible. Like you have a one liner, then another framework could be like 10 lines or something like that. But then I don't know, building complete solutions in Leaf has always been a bit annoying. And yeah, that's something MVC4 and Leaf 4 are trying to fix. So by the time this is released, you'd probably be able to build like full MVPs in minutes, hopefully. Um, Hopefully I don't add too much magic to it because I think that's like one of my major pain points with Laravel. As easy as Laravel is to use, there's just too much magic. So sometimes you write a one-liner and like 100 things are done for you and you don't even know how to customize them or anything. So yeah, hopefully Leaf doesn't get to that point. But then at the same time, we need a lot of automation just to make things easier. So Leaf 4, Leaf MVC4. I don't know if there are any questions. If there are, please do ask. Once again, if you're on Discord, just drop everything in here and I'll take care of them. Um, Let me see. There's actually no timeline for this yet. Actually, there's a timeline. There's a timeline. Um, I think in a week or in 2 weeks, MVC4 should be out. Because yeah, besides myself, there've also been a bunch of other folks test MVC4, try to build like full applications with it, which is another reason we are doing all of this stuff, automation and all of that. Um, yeah. So between beta and actual release of MVC4 might be just a few days, honestly, because things have been tested extremely. Um, yeah. The only thing I'm kind of skeptical about is schema files because they are so new, and I think that's pretty normal. Like when you build something completely new, it's you'd always probably be a bit skeptical about releasing it. Because yeah, that's something I've actually not seen any other framework do. And then besides being just a replacement for migrations, schema files try to always keep in sync with your database. So if you add something new, it actually like compares states to the previous state of your database and all of that stuff. So yeah, it's like completely new and that's kind of scary actually. So yeah, that's something I wouldn't want to be careless with. Which is actually the main reason there's been like a hold up with um version 4 of beta, sorry. Because I've been extremely I've been stress testing schema files just to make sure they hold up and they don't do anything they're not supposed to do. Because I mean you're basically giving all your database power to one file, which is not even a PHP file, it's a YML file. So that's kind of something I want to be really careful with. Yeah, let's see. Besides that, security, we promised a bunch of security, and Leaf and Leaf MVC4 are. I'm just adding in a whole new layer of security. Um, Out of the box, by the way, just out of the box. So technically, you don't have to do anything. Pretty much the same way with CSRF. I'm kind of changing the way CSRF, like just a little bit. It's not a breaking change. You can when this is done, you can just compose updates and you get your CSRF stuff. Also better documentation. So just separating Leaf's documentation from Leaf MVC's documentation in a way that actually makes sense. Um, yeah, that has allowed me to write better documentation, I think. Yeah, and I just hope it's actually useful to you guys. Then yeah, there's a lot more stuff down here. So whoever we think you might be interested in. Um, yeah, yeah, that's it. That's it for Leaf MVC, Leaf MVC4. We just want to make Leaf a much better framework for you to just build and ship stuff out like really, really fast. Um, yeah, basically. So that's our new target. That's what we are targeting. That's our goal. I mean, the goal, what we wrote in the blog, kind of aligns with that. So yeah, we're just going full force with that. You should be able to build stuff in days. Oh, and by the way, so we are not only doing that for um this is paper plane, forget about paper plane for now. Yeah, we are not only doing the like this ship fast thing for only leave, but then we're also giving you I think I talked about this quite a while ago. That was leave zero. So zero is going to be um composable UIs. So like hero sections, blah blah blah. I've mentioned this a bunch of times. That is already in paper plane. So paper plane, everything you see for paper plane is basically leave zero. I mean like this everything here from the nav bar to the hero section, all of those were built with leave zero. So we're going to be releasing leave zero as um a bunch of templates, page sections, UI components, stuff like that, that you can just copy and paste. And how it's different from every other thing is people usually focus on like Tailwind or Tailwind and Alpine, but then we're giving you literally everything: Tailwind, Alpine, Blade, um, PHP, everything. So yeah, you can just copy and paste these, and all of this is just a way for you to build faster, basically. Um, yeah. So like the whole idea is you should be able to ship in minutes. Like build a complete application in minutes from front end, back end, server side, whatever I choose to call it these days. Yeah, you should be able to build all of that stuff really fast from like idea to hello world in minutes. Yeah, so that's what we're targeting. That's with a whole new elegant PHP for makers. We're just building stuff for people who want to build stuff. Yeah, we've had quite a nice run with the simplicity and all of that stuff. Showcasing one-liners. Well, that's actually pretty useful. Like it's been useful to me because I literally built those stuff for myself. And they've been useful, but I think they've kind of like outlived their use. Um, we just need stuff that works, stuff that we can build super fast with. Um, yeah. So that's what we're doing. Like zero config, powerful tools. Yeah, and they should just work basically. Um, yeah. So that's what we're doing with Leave. That's what we've done this week. Actually, now I'm actually looking at it. It's been quite an impressive week. Yeah, because like basically all of the stuff plus the release stuff I showed you earlier, all of those were this week. So it's been quite an impressive week. Um, yeah, that's our our week this let's leave this week basically. Um, yeah. So as usual, you can hit me up on Discord. It was kind of surprising because I've actually heard people complain about the documentation, and then for once, I actually put this out here. Like, if you have any problems with the documentation, just put it out. And then, so like, where's everyone who said they had problems with the documentation? Anyway, so yeah, if you're watching this video later, like after this hangout, and you have problems with documentation, please just put them down wherever you can. I'm usually on Discord, but you can reach out to me on Twitter at Michidako. If you don't use Discord, or just create a GitHub issue and tag me, please. If you don't tag me, I probably wouldn't find it. I don't know why. Because I'm supposed to get notifications for the whole organization, but then I don't get notifications for issues and pull requests and all of those stuff. So if you can please tag me, I'll get an email and that would be much easier for me to find. Um, yeah. So if you have any suggestions, questions, any of that stuff, you can just hit me up and I will get back to you as soon as I find your message. Yeah, paper plane is still on hold until Leaf MVC 4 is out. Um, so yeah, that's on hold for quite a while. There's also this learn part, same thing as I talked about earlier. So we have like an example application. We take you through like building your first application and all of that stuff. Yeah. basically everything we think you should know. And I'm just trying to rewrite as much of the documentation as I can. Um, yeah, basically. So yeah. If you've been a bit frustrated about how there've been no new features over the past couple of months, yeah, that's because I've been trying to get stuff working as smoothly as possible. I saw an issue on inertia. I think um, Rome, sorry, Rome opened a new issue about was it Vue? Actually, had that open somewhere. I Yeah, it was about cores. Yeah, some default config was not good enough for the default or something like that. So yeah, I'll also check that out. Yeah, but pretty much this is Leaf. This is what we are doing with Leaf. Okay, thank you, Terry. Um, yeah, and also I did part of the stream before I noticed YouTube hadn't set this live. It was unlisted basically. So after the stream, you can just go back to the beginning because I mentioned a little bit over there. Yeah, that's my little rant about Leaf. Big announcement: Leaf 4, Leaf MVC 4. We're working on usability. Performance is still a big thing for me personally. For other people, maybe not so much, but performance is still really big for me. Anywhere I get a chance to increase Leaf's performance, I'll definitely hop on that. Um, Performance, usability is probably now the biggest thing. Um, yeah, simplicity still, but definitely usability. We are just trying to put in as much magic as we can without becoming Laravel. We don't want to become Laravel. Um, Leaf is still going to be really lightweight, really easy to use, really simple for beginners, and all of that. So yeah, we are not changing any of that stuff. We're just making usability a really big priority right now. Um, yeah, okay. I do not see any questions. Um, no additions. But as usual, you can always hit me up on Discord, as usual. Um, yeah. So this is a 40-minute hangout, not so short, not so long, but these are the plans for Leap. Um, I don't think they are so different from what we had in our blog for our January recap and what we plan to do for February and all of that. I think it's pretty much still the same plans, just with a bit more direction. Yeah, there've been like infinitely delayed stuff, but I guess it'll all be worth it by the end of February because there's just a whole lot with Leaf MVC 4 and then Leaf version 4. I don't know if I should also change the colors because I think we've been on these colors for like 3 years. Anyway, that's just that's just by the way. Yeah. So Leaf version 4, Leaf MVC version 4, a new CLI, which I showed a bit earlier. Unfortunately, we don't have colors. It's just black and white. You have colors when you kind of like install stuff. So if I should have like a new test, you get colors, but then the actual CLI itself doesn't have colors. Um, yeah. So that might be something to add. But yeah, we have a new CLI working that doesn't conflict with Symfony console, which means you can install it on any PHP version you're on, version 2, version 7.2 or higher, because Leaf only works with version 7.2, I think, or 7.4. I think Leaf itself works with 7.2, but then some modules have a 7.4 restriction. So it's just better to be on 7.4. And yeah, I think we're also doing the highest number of downloads. I've been saying that for like 3 weeks in a row, which is actually pretty amazing because we've been doing like the highest number of downloads for like like the second week in a row, which is impressive. And I think Leaf HTTP hits a new high of installs. Okay, that came down. That came down. But yeah, it's been pretty impressive over the past couple of weeks. Um, yeah. So that's it. That's pretty much it for this hangout. Um, this is what we are doing for leave. Just letting you build really fast, really simple, really lightweight, really fast, and then just build stuff that works and stuff that scales with you. So yeah, I will catch you guys in the next hangout, which would probably have some good news about um progress. Yeah. So as I said, if you have any issues with the documentation, please, 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 please put them down here because I want to wrap all the documentation this week. I do not want to work on documentation next week. So please help me. Please put down any problems you have here. Um, yeah, because next week is going to be full building. I have written documentation for things I've not yet built, especially queues. Um, I have to turn like a 3-year-old library into something that works. Is it 2 years? Yeah, 2 years ago. And then a bunch of other things too. I've actually written a lot of documentation for things that don't exist yet. Um, yeah. So I want to just wrap all the documentation and then focus on building stuff. So please help me if you have anything on the current documentation that you don't get, that doesn't make sense, that is wrong, doesn't work, anything like that, just please just list them down and then I'll take care of them. Yeah. So I'll catch you guys next week. Hopefully with real updates, or actually hopefully with a beta. I think version 4 beta is long overdue. So we'll see a beta version plus a few more updates. So have a nice weekend. Oh, and today's Val's Day. Happy Val's Day to you guys. I was stuck here behind my laptop. So that's how my Val's Day went. Anyway, I'll catch you guys next week.